record session. There we
Okay.
go. All right, David.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending the commercial meeting. We appreciate everybody's attendance. We have a couple of wonderful guests, and we're going to start with wonderful Ann Russell. She is going to, instead of getting into the long intro, I'm going to have her introduce herself. She's wonderful. I've had the opportunity to travel with her. And of course, we're involved in GLAR. And without any further ado, Ann Russell, please go ahead.
Thank you, David. Okay. Hi, everybody. So I am President 2024-2025 of Greater Los Angeles Realtors. I've been doing this for over 40 years. I have active brokers licenses in California, New York, and Florida. And I do a lot of international commercial. So right now, because it's the commercial forum, I wanted to present to you a couple of projects I'm working on right now in Greece and see if you might have any potential buyers for me. So I think I'll share the screen right now. Let's see, there we go. Can you see my screen, everybody? Yes?
Yes, yes.
Good. Okay. So this is my first offering, and it's really the most exciting one of all. This is the Apollo Resort Hotel in Agia Marina. This is on Agina, the Agina Island in Greece. As you see from the stats below, it's 43,000 square foot, 4-star hotel with 107 keys and parking. It's a class H9. It's a beautiful spot. Get through the disclaimer. Here I am. Here's the resort. Let's keep going. The investment overview, I work with my partner, Varakis, in Greece. It's a beautiful spot owned by one person. They purchased this property in 2021. It's actually been a very famous hotel on the island since the 1960s, which means that it has the fabulous thing of owning the land it's on. A lot of the properties in Greece will be on land leases. This one is not. It owns its site, which is pretty unusual. And it's right on the Saronic Gulf, which is gorgeous.
It's hard to film title in a foreign country.
Hi, Essence, did you say something?
I'm so sorry. I thought
That's okay. The lot size is over 40,000. The properties on the lot size is 40,000 square feet across the street. There's available development potential across the way that's owned by the property itself. There's conference buildings, approximately an 8,000 square foot structure. So there's three properties. There's 12 apartments also in Alonis, Agina, which are currently being used for staff. And it's a 12 apartment building of 5,000 square feet with a clubhouse and a pool sitting on 20,000 square foot lot. So in Greece, if you don't understand the way it works, they're seasonal. They open from about April to the end of November. And when they do that, they house their staff. So that's why you also get this other building with the apartments to house the staff. And the staff has been working. It's a working hotel. I'll show you all the figures and the numbers in just a minute. That place is 5 minutes from the main property, so very easy for the staff to get back and forth. It's located in this very popular port town of Agia Marina. The resort sits on a very crucial sandy mooring site, and it's been well established since the 60s, and it's only half an hour outside of Athens, the Piraeus port by fast boat. So there's a lot of Athenians who come here regularly for the summer on their vacations to stay in this hotel. So it's been operating, as I said, all the way since the early 70s and has been completely refurbished in 2021. This is a brand new saltwater pool that sits on the site overlooking the bay. You got 107 keys. You can see the occupancy rate and for the years and how much nightly rates and what they have been. Total expenses is about 72% of the revenues, totaling about 770,000 euros in 23, and I've got 24 and 25 projections coming up. The EBIT is really good, 29.5% total revenue. That's terrific EBIT, about 295 in 23. There's great investment potential because the lot across the way is basically now a couple of tennis courts and a putting green, like a miniature golf course. So you could actually build more units or villas on that site across the street for a lot of upside and rent them out as well. It has the potential to be upgraded to a 5-star. Compared to regional hotel and tourism standards, for a 4-star hotel, the revenues for the property should be performing at about 1.3 million euros annual earnings based on a 67% occupancy rate across the season. So with an average ADR of about 140 euros, which is very conservative and right in line with what everybody else is doing. So here's the look of it. There's your beach. It's a rocky beach down here with steps to it. Beautiful saltwater pool. There's a restaurant in the hotel as well. It's really a nice place. This is the location, which is like knock your socks off and gorgeous. Again, only half an hour by fast boat outside of Athens. It's on about 5 acres plus the additional 12 unit apartment building 5 minutes away. It's an hour and a half from the international airport, and it says 30 minutes from the Periosphere. Here's the look of the place. This is what the furnishings look like. Here's all of the amenities that you have, which is what you should have in any hotel. Place looks great. It's really pretty. Here's your numbers, which you want to look at. Our asking price is 13,700,000 euros, which comes to a cap rate for our 25 very conservative projections of about 5.8% cap. So a very nice cap rate. And if you purchase this, and we're looking to purchase it to sell it either to a single owner or to syndicate it to multiple owners, we can have up to 9. We'll have 3 entities with 3 people each if we go up to 9 to separate it out. And once you invest in Greece, in this area, you have the opportunity to receive a golden visa. This just shows you where it is. Here's the temple of Aphaia, which is a beautiful ruins. These are beaches here. This is the resort here. And here's the port where you would come in on the fast boat. So you can basically walk from the port to the hotel. Tourist demand is very high on these islands. There's a lot of residential and commercial demand as well. This is the hotel, the site. Here's another picture. Here's the site of the tourist attraction, the ruins. Again, this is the lovely town that it's in. It's really quite beautiful. And here's your golden visa investment. So if you put a minimum of 500,000, and I'm envisioning maybe 9 people at about 1.3 million or 1.4 million each to come up to the purchase price, you will get a initial insurance for 5 years of a residency, EU residency, not just Greece. So it means that if once you have that 5-year residency, which is then renewable every 5 years, your kids, your parents all can work, travel, live, go to school in any country in the EU. So it's kind of wonderful, a wonderful way to get a second passport for anyone who's interested in investing outside of the US. So that's basically the story. And it's quite beautiful. So any questions?
I gotta say one thing for you guys, and I know everyone on this call are very smart. This should be a vacation, and it would be a tax deduction just to go on a very nice vacation, but also get to see Ann Russell's listings. And you never know, you may want to, do a deal as well. So it'll be a 2 for 1. But look at the beautiful place. I mean, Anne hasn't paid me or nothing. I just want to tell you that's the way I look at it. I don't know about you guys, but go ahead. Questions, anyone? Any comments?
Any questions at all? This is the one I want to present today. I have another one in my back pocket, but this is the one that we have signed exclusively. So this is the one I want to sell first. Then I have another one for a little bit more money near Athens, but this one we should go first. Again, if you have any clients who might be at all interested, let me know. And as David says, we'll fly to Greece. They'll put you up in the hotel and you get to see it and experience it. They're more than happy to do that. So yes, it would be like a business vacation. All right. Thank you, everyone. If you have any
Thank you
questions,
very much, Ann. And
my phone number was there, 323-697-9733. So if you have any questions about it, or you want to get the deck, I'm happy to send the deck out to you. Just to let me know, just text me and I'll send you the deck with an email address. I'll send you the deck. All right.
thank you very much, Ann. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time. Oh,
Thank you very
wonderful
much.
listing.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take it easy. Thank you. All right. Next in line, before I introduce the next person, anyone has any questions, anything that they like to say, comments, any thing whatsoever? Don't be shy. Going once, going twice, 3 times sold. Do we have our wonderful presenter, our next presenter on the line already? Omid?
He's on, yeah. Yep, he's on.
Man, I have a book about this guy, but I'm gonna reduce it to only 2 lines. We have one of our wonderful associates who specialize in SBA financing, Mr. Lee Badman Kleiman, who had the honor, pleasure meeting him, I don't know, about maybe 8 years ago, 7 years ago, and we hit it off, and we've done business, and he's our next presenter. Without further ado, Mr. Lee Badman Kleiman.
Thank you, David, as always, David and team and the KW family. I don't see myself on the attendee list, but can everybody see me? Oh, there I am. Okay, there we go. All right, always an issue. Anyways, thanks for including me again, as always. Wanted to join the group per David's invitation to talk about SBA 504 financing, the current climate, interest rates, what have you. It's more of a discussion than a presentation, so feel free to interrupt or chime in with any questions or comments along the way. Omid wanted to talk about demand in the marketplace, and things have been choppy for a few years for various reasons, but the owner-user segment is driving a lot of the demand in the marketplace for the following reasons. Business owners need a space. Very few operate out of their house. They either have to rent or buy. And many business owners are still deciding to pay the higher interest rates versus rental rates. So that is still driving a lot of demand in the owner-user arena. And what makes it also more attractive on that owner-user side is the low down payment of the SBA 504 program. Most transactions are at that 10% down. Sometimes the project might require an extra 5% down because it's a special purpose property, or the client hasn't owned their business for 2 years or more. But I would say 95% or more of my transactions have that 10% down payment, which makes it very affordable because we all know how expensive real estate is in Southern California. You take a 10% down payment, map that over to a conventional 20 to 30% down payment. Without the SBA down payment, many of our clients wouldn't be able to afford to buy a building for their business. So I'm happy to be a part of a value-added program in that regard. As far as availability goes, we're always hearing about this area tightening up or maybe not available. I can say as an SBA 504 lender for the past 26 years, whether being at the bank doing the first or where I am now doing the second, the SBA financing is always available except when the budget runs out, which happens like once every 10 or 20 years. So putting that aside, nobody should ever feel that the financing market within the SBA space has dried up or is not available. There's hundreds or thousands of banks that participate as a first mortgage lender. And if some are tightening up or exiting the space, there's plenty left over to fill the financing need for that first mortgage piece. And another value add of the SBA is that during tough times, they do not ever tighten up their credit policy. So there's stability within the program, which adds a lot of value when there might not be that much stability in the marketplace. I get asked a lot about escrow periods, and without knowing all of the details of a particular transaction, I always recommend a 60-day escrow where the first 45 days is for the financing contingency, and then we have 15 after the close. Can it be done faster? Yes, but the client typically drives the longer process because they're busy running a business, and rarely do they stop what they're doing and just work on our needs list. So, if somebody wanted to make a tighter offer, maybe 40 plus 10 for a 50-day escrow, but I don't recommend anything faster than that because it usually doesn't happen. And then there are factors that could drive a process or an escrow past the typical 60 days. Is there the need for finance construction where the client might not have their contractor bid and architect drawings done fast enough? Is it a startup business that requires a lot of extra financial due diligence, like business plans, projections, opening day balance sheet? All of that stuff takes longer on top of all the other tasks that are included in a regular transaction. So without knowing some of these details, startup construction, I would say 40 plus 10 would be the fastest. I'm sorry. Yeah, 40 plus 10 would probably be the fastest you want to go into an escrow. Most are done 45 plus 15. And many times I see one of the three components that are required for loan approval. There's appraisal, environmental, and loan approval. And many times I'll see a contract to where the appraisal or the environmental need to be done faster than the loan approval. And on an SBA 504 transaction, I don't recommend that for the following reason. The government doesn't allow us to submit an appraisal report or an environmental report before we submit the loan request. And sometimes it takes a while to get the loan request underwriting completed. And again, we can't submit those reports until the credit request is ready to be submitted. So by having a tighter time frame for a report or two, that might have to be changed because we might not be ready to submit the loan request as fast as everybody would like. So I highly recommend having the appraisal, environmental, and loan request a part of that financing contingency, whether it's 40 or 45 or even more days. I always recommend engaging the lender early in the process for many, many reasons. For your benefit, I don't think any of you want to spend time showing property to a client that doesn't qualify. And then many times when I'm introduced to a company, they might not have their financials in order. Meaning if last year was the only year they qualify from a debt service coverage perspective, they might not have their tax return done. And if I'm involved early, I can guide them to say, hey, there's a deal here, but the lenders are probably going to want your last year's tax return filed sooner rather than later. So I can guide them along the way to get that return filed sooner rather than later. Some companies don't have sophisticated internal accounting. They might not have their profit and loss and balance sheet up to date, and it might take them a week or two or longer to get that going. And then again, it just makes sense to have a pre-approval letter in hand. So when you're showing a property that your client likes, there's a solid chance another buyer is going to like that property. And we all know that if their offer comes in with proof of funds, pre-approval, solid offer, that offer might get accepted over another client that doesn't have their pre-approval letter in place. So I know sometimes clients don't want to spend time with someone like me until they find a deal or a property to make an offer on, but I would encourage them for the reasons that I mentioned, and there's probably more that I'm missing that you're aware of as well, to start the lender process sooner rather than later. I think we all know by now that I participate in the SBA 504 program. A bank provides the first 50%. I come in with a 40% SBA second mortgage loan. Sometimes that's 30 or 35 because there might be a requirement for a higher down payment. But by bringing in someone like myself, if the client is interested in SBA, we're going to know the SBA credit policy manual better than the bank first mortgage lender. And I know I sound biased in saying this, so I'll just throw this out. Whether it's me, someone else from my firm, or another CDC, these are the reasons why you want to bring in the second mortgage lender first versus the bank, or at least at the same time. Because banks decline SBA eligible transactions every day because it doesn't fit their credit box. And they may or may not be telling you and the client that they're declining it because it doesn't fit their box or because it doesn't fit the SBA credit box. If they don't tell you that they're declining it because it doesn't fit their box, but it's still SBA eligible, that could be a problem. Because if you get declined and not being told why, you and your client might think it's not a doable deal. So at the end of the day, banks decline SBA eligible transactions every day because it doesn't fit their credit box, but it very much well still could be an SBA eligible transaction. And there's a lot of things that I've learned being an SBA 504 second mortgage lender that I never learned in being a first mortgage lender at Wells Fargo for decades. And I worked with top-notch people at the bank. I worked with top-notch CDCs that do what I do now. And again, there's a lot of things that I've learned being here that I never knew at the bank. And one of those is that you can use lot space to meet or to assist in meeting the occupancy requirement, which we all know is 51% for SBA transactions. So if you have an industrial building that's 2 units and it's divided 60-40, the 60% is leased long-term, 5 or 7 years to a tenant. The 40% space is only available to the buyer. Many folks might think that is a deal killer because you're not at 51. But if the business requires the usage of lot space for parking of business-related vehicles, storage, staging, you can use lot space in conjunction with the building space to get to that 51%. And I've done several transactions using this entry that's actually in the SBA credit policy manual. And for all the decades that I was financing 504s as a first mortgage lender at Wells Fargo, I never knew this. And so that's another reason why you want to call an SBA specialist like myself, because we're going to know the SBA credit policy manual probably more than the banks and could help you get more deals done that way with your clientele. And that's pretty much it that I have to talk about. I had a short list as I wasn't sure how much time I had. So I will open it up to any questions, comments, or thoughts or feedback.
First of all, I want to wish everyone, we didn't start with this and I apologize. I want to wish everyone a happy Passover and an upcoming Easter. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Passover so far if you're celebrating Passover and you look forward to upcoming Easter weekend. Lee is a gentleman and a scholar. I don't know what we would do without him and his vast knowledge. And I got to tell you guys, and I just share with you this, that what he touches on, you should listen very carefully. And what I mean is, if you have a buyer, and we get calls all the time, says, yeah, I'm interested, I want to buy this. And you don't even know if the guy's qualified, that he's trying to, use the place and, he's looking at SBA. You owe it to yourself to call him. You don't want to call Lee, you're calling your other SBA. Sorry, Lee, I'm not, I'm just being very neutral. But make sure you reach out to people and get your buyers pre-qualified. Because all you're doing is you're going to go and do all the running around. You make an offer, and guess what? The guy's not qualified. You didn't run it by Lee to make sure the guy can get SBA or get financing. Okay, so it is imperative, guys, to save yourself time, and especially more than ever today, which is a very difficult market. You owe it to yourself to call to the lender or Lee, if you're doing it, to get these buyers qualified instead of spinning your wheels. So, Lee, thank you for touching on that.
Sure.
And
yeah.
obviously, when it comes to programs, interest rates, and all this and that, Lee, what he does, as you heard, 50% is the bank, he shops it for you, 40% is Lee. And who better than him? Because he's going to shop for the best deal. When you go straight to one bank, you're dealing with one bank. But when you're working with Lee Kleiman, what you're doing is he's shopping it for you. And he's going to get you the best program that's suited for your, for your user, your buyer. Keep that in mind. Don't forget this. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we all know I'm not a loan broker, but to help the clients, because we know the first mortgage landscape better than the borrowers do, because every project that we're involved in has a bank. So we're always seeing how the different banks underwrite and how they price. And I've lumped the clients and the banks into 3 categories: top tier, middle tier, lower tier. So when I get a file from someone like yourselves, we spread the deal, we size it up, we look at the trends, the cash flow ratios, and depending on how they underwrite, let's say they're a top tier underwrite, but they bank at a middle tier bank and they want to go with their bank for the first. Well, I'm going to step in and say, that's fine. I'll partner with any bank that you or anybody else brings in as the second mortgage lender, but I know how your bank underwrites and prices. I see how you underwrite. I'd like to refer you to a top tier bank so you get a longer term fixed rate and a lower fixed rate. So that's another value add of looping in a CDC first. Again, whether it's me, someone else on my team, or another CDC, that's the value of using the CDC first.
And Lee, what are the rates currently for SBA?
Sure. So for top tier customers, you can get a 25-year fixed in the high 5s. For middle tier underwrites, you could be at a 10-year fixed in the mid to upper 6s. And for a lower tier underwrite, you could be in the 7s or low 8s for a 5-year fixed. And all clients nationally get the same rates and fees on the second. So there's never a need to shop the second mortgage that I provide. And that's currently 6.43 fixed for 25 years.
Lee, the prepayment penalty, yes or no?
There's one top tier bank that has the best rate with no prepayment penalty on the first, which is unheard of. It's the only bank I'm aware of that has no prepay on the first, but most banks have what's called a 5-4-3-2-1 on the first mortgage. 5% penalty first year, 4% second year. And during those first 5 years, you can typically prepay between 10 and 20% per year with no penalty. So typically a 5-year prepay on the first, unless you're top tier, you could possibly get no prepay and a good 25-year fixed rate. The second mortgage that I provide has a 10-year prepay. Right now, year 1 is starting around 5%, and that gets reduced by 10% every year. So year 2 would be 4.5, year 3 would be about 4, and so on and so on.
Any other questions by any of other members of our audience? Please don't be shy. We do this for a reason, guys.
Yeah, Lee, is there any kind of product that SBA will not lend on?
Not myself. Our team has done a private golf course. We've done a private marina. I've done special purpose properties, car wash, gas station. I can think of restricted industries like business types, but I really can't think of a restricted property per se.
Got it. If let's say the property has, it's a mixed use, commercial with residential, let's say upstairs, but the commercial component of it is more than 51%, and the buyer would be, using it for their own use. Is that SBA eligible?
Yes, I just closed a deal for a dentist that bought a commercial building that had units in the back. And the commercial space needed to be 51% or more of the total structure square footage, but it wasn't. It was close, but close doesn't satisfy our elected officials who made these SBA rules. So
What did you do?
Pardon?
What did you do?
What we were allowed to do, and this was allowed, it's allowed creativity, I call it. What we were not, actually, I'm going to back up. You're not allowed to count residential space. Like the dentist couldn't have said, I'm going to use one of the apartments for an office space. That's not allowed because that space is zoned and geared for residential use. But what we were allowed to do is use a couple of the enclosed garages that were a part of the units, the residential units, as the doctor was going to use those enclosed garages for storage. And that got us over the hump. Even though those spaces were not part of the gross building square footage. But the SBA is accommodating. They want to help small businesses. So when it comes to that situation, they allow it. When it comes to an office user where there's common areas that are not part of the building square footage, but the business owner is going to say, we're going to use this common area space for our lobby space or what have you, the SBA will allow us to shift that space to the owner occupancy side. And I did a deal many, many years ago when I was at Wells Fargo as the first mortgage lender. It was an two-story office building on Clarendon in Woodland Hills. And we used the storage space under the stairs to get us over the hump. So there's allowed creative ways. And again, that's another reason why you want to call someone like myself, because the banks might not know this.
And guys, that's what I was going to say. When you go with Lee looks at it from every angle to make sure it gets done if it can get done. It's worth it. Or worth it, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, those are good questions, and these things come up all the time. And it's nice to know that I have a great team. I don't know it all. Many times you've probably heard me say on a phone call, I don't know the answer to that, but give me 12 seconds so I can email my credit manager. She'll probably respond before the call ends. And more often than not, she does. She's a wealth of information. She empowers me so I can empower you and your clients. And it's a beautiful thing.
It's not only a beautiful thing, but Lee, you're beautiful. That's what counts. That's what it's all about. Lots of beautiful people on this call.
I'll take it, but I prefer handsome.
Handsome, beautiful, and back here is beautiful. I'm thinking of all of you. By the way, I have to share something. Is Simon on? Simon is on, right? Simon on the line. Simon Caceres? I guess he's not on.
No, he was on earlier. He was on earlier.
He was on. Okay, no problem. It just, we have a little inside story, but he knows what I'm gonna say, what I was gonna say. Anyway, anybody else has any questions for Mr. Lee Badman Kleiman? Well, Lee, we really appreciate your time. I know you're always on the phone, man. You're always, wheeling and dealing. Even when I get together with you, we're on a trip, get together, what have you. We really thank you for all the information that you shared with us. And I'm 110% sure anyone that has any question about SBA, they will reach out to you. And keep up the good work, young man.
I appreciate everyone's partnership, and I just want to take 10 more seconds. I want to congratulate Sam Alashani for his recent referral to me, where the escrow closed a couple of weeks ago for a client that was looking for a building for a long time. So thank you, Sam. That was probably our third or fourth owner user deal in the last 2 years. And of course, Team
Sam!
Yashar of Keys.
What
Of
the hell,
course,
Sam? Where's the champagne bottle, baby?
this guy's
Bring it on, baby.
he's on a rampage, this guy. I don't know how to
Lee.
stop. I don't know how to stop him, but I don't think I want to.
Lee.
And then, of course, Team
Make
Yashar
sure.
for their ongoing and continued support over the years. Thank you, everybody. Love you all.
Yeah, and anyone from this group closes the deal with Lee, we all have to open up a bottle of champagne to celebrate. No buts and ifs about
Absolutely.
it. Anyway, congratulations to Sam. Congratulations to Lee. We didn't know. Mazel tov. And guys, if there are no questions for Lee, we want to just get in and give everybody a few minutes. If they have a buyer needs, we'll start with the buyer needs. If anyone working with a buyer, either in exchange or they're working with someone that they've been working before and they're looking for a type of property, please give a big shout out and let us hear what you got. Anyone at all? Anyone working with a buyer? No one's working with a buyer. Everybody's working with sellers. Okay. We'll take a few minutes if there is anyone out there that has a brand new listing or they've had a listing for some time. They just had a reduction in price and, they want to give a quick shout out on that listing. Anyone out there? Don't be shy. This is how deals are being put together, guys. Anyone?
Copper Mountain Ski Resort.
Hi David. Hi Lee. Hi Sam.
Right on.
It's
Hey,
Camilla.
Camilla, how are you?
Left onto
Good,
Ryan
how
Gulch
are
Road.
ya?
Good.
I did an email blast my own on Friday. Just wanted to mention the car wash I mentioned. I sent to Lee for his advice. And we had just had a price reduction to 4.95. And I do have a client that who's shopping for another exchange car wash. He's closing escrow mid this month at 4.5-ish. So I want to know how I can help him, possibly with the loan and everything in place.
County Road 1260B. Continue on
so-
Ryan Gulch Road
I
for 3
believe just
quarters of a
jumped
mile.
off. So, Camilla, just go and complete a call later. And see what he has and see what he can do.
Okay,
And
sounds
then-
good. Thank you.
Why don't, very good, Camilla. Thank you so much. Omi, do you want to go ahead and touch on that car wash, which we're working with Camilla on, and of course, the other ones?
Yeah. So we have an express car wash. It's business and real estate in South LA. This was developed roughly about 3.5 years ago by the seller. Older gentleman. He's getting to an age where he just needs to sell and relax. He's doing very well there with zero advertising. It's not a subscription based yet. He's very old school. He's doing it per wash, and he's doing, very good numbers. Located just off a very major signalized intersection in South LA. Go ahead and send me over a email or a text. My phone number is 818-384-4111. I can get an NDA out to you. Asking price on that is $4,950,000. We just had a price reduction of about $250,000 on that one. He is very motivated to sell. That one again is business and real estate together.
Omi, do you want to touch on the other two real quick?
The other two, we have another one. This one is also in LA County, not in South LA, but in LA County. Again, we need an NDA signed prior to address being disclosed. This one is business only. It is currently a full hand car wash. They do have full entitlements already done to do the conversion to an express. We were just under escrow on this one. The buyer kept asking for extension after extension. Seller got aggravated. And seller said, thank you, no, thank you. They are very motivated to sell due to family issues. It's like I said, it's been entitled already to do the conversion to an express car wash with 17 vacs. It's in building and safety at this point. Go ahead, buyer takes over. And they can do what they want to wish. They can do what they want to with it. There would be a brand new lease upon the close of escrow. The good thing is there would be a right of first refusal put into the lease. Once the seller is ready to sell the land, they would sell it alongside that. Again, go ahead and give me a text message or give me a call and discuss further. Phone number is 818-384-4111. Last one, we have another car wash, express car wash with gas. This one is about an hour north of Santa Barbara in the city of Santa Maria.
And includes the property, don't forget.
This one includes business and property. This one is priced to sell as well. We can do, I think we can figure this out at just under 3 million, or north of 2.5, between 2.5 and 3 million is where this is going to trade. Seller, because of health issues since COVID, he lives in Los Angeles himself. He's not able to go up there as often as he likes or wants or can, for that matter. And he has to sell it. This is something that's been generating money for him for a long time, always been profitable. His spreads, as an example, on the gas are almost $1 a gallon, which is unheard of in the industry, but that's what he's getting, and doing very well there. But because of health reasons, he has to sell. Again, please give me a call or text me. Phone number is 818-384-4111. And again, this is for a business and real estate up in Santa Maria.
Thank you, Amit. I'll touch on a couple of opportunities real fast, 30 seconds in each. We have a medical zone property that's currently occupied by a tenant on a month-to-month basis, way below market rent. This location, we can disclose 130 Manchester. We have been under contract 2 times, no fault of the seller due to qualification, getting a loan. These two, both escrows were reactivated. 130 Manchester, if you're working with any doctors, investor with tenant or tenants in mind, or they want to buy a medical zone property and negotiate with the existing tenant, this is the perfect opportunity. We're listed at $1,460,000. We were under contract at a higher number. Seller wants this thing sold. In fact, today, the ones that get our emails, we had that on an email blast. Should have got that from us if you're getting our emails on listings. 130 Manchester for only $1,460,000, about 12,000 square feet of land and building just under 3,000 square feet. The next deal, we just listed approximately 3 to 4 weeks ago. It is in downtown LA, located at 1115 Wall Street. Believe it or not, I had this property listed with the father, of this current owner, father, who listed it in 2008. For $3,250,000. We have it listed right now for $1,695,000. Once again, we're basically half price just because the seller wants this thing sold and understands where the market is, not only in the overall, but in downtown LA. We're approximately just tad under a 7.5 cap on existing, can deliver this somewhere between that and about an 8 cap, if not an 8 cap. 4 stores, $1,695,000, about 6,500 square feet, high ceiling, shows very well. Building built in year 2002. If you're working with any investor or possibly owner and user, this would be the deal. Again, 1115 Wall Street in downtown LA for only $1,695,000, just under a 7.5 cap on existing income. Anyone has any questions here, please? Go ahead.
Hi, David. Did you say the building, it's 2002?
Built in 2002, yes. This
Built in
is, what is your name? Sorry.
Essence Raoul?
I'm sorry?
Essence Raoul?
SNL. Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. Okay,
Yes, and if you need more information on this, just please give us a call. Either of the numbers, myself or Eric or Omid. Be glad to send you the detailed information.
thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Again, don't be shy.
Have some questions.
We have an audience here that they have questions, but we'll let our audience here at KW. Anybody else? Omid, you want to add anything else? Eric, you guys want to say anything else?
That's it at this point. No, I think we're good. Let's just find some buyers, guys. Let's get some deals done this year.
And we're
With
really
or without
honestly,
Lee's
I mean,
help.
yeah, exactly. With or without Lee, but we love Lee, and if it's non-SBA, I mean, he can even help you, tell you who to go to. That's another thing you'll get out of him.
Yep,
But guys,
100%.
please call us, use us. When I say use us, don't abuse us, but use us to help you put a deal together. That's what it's about.
Yeah,
It's got to be.
yeah. If there's anybody on here that's a residential agent, by all means, don't try doing a deal on your own, especially for a commercial transaction. There's a lot of things that you may get in hot water about later on. You don't want to take that risk. Get somebody involved. Get us involved. Get somebody else involved, but get somebody involved.
As they say, don't ghost us, call us. But jokes aside, we're here to help you. We are about making deals. We got to practice the old-fashioned way, as I always preach, more than ever, guys. It's a harder market. You got to work smarter and do the right thing. And that's what it's about. So thank you very much. Thank you for all your efforts. Thank you for being on this Zoom. And I believe the next one, Omid, is what we're going to have in May, right?
In 2 weeks, well, I think it would be the 29th. No, in 2 weeks from now, April 29th will be the next one.
29th. We'll discuss the ICSC on the next meeting.
So we will discuss ICS.
And again, we have booths out there. Yeah. All right. Without further ado, thank you very much. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Take it easy. Once again, happy Passover. Happy upcoming Easter. Work hard, play hard. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Was that
everybody.
a Zoom?
Guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Ciao.